What is up, YouTube? It's been a long time. So this is a pre-intro to the actual intro of this video. I just wanted to say this first before this video starts because it has been many months since I've posted on YouTube and super busy with business. We've made many different sizes and variations of Reptile Enclosure on our website, talkingserpents.com. More accessories than I can even talk about on here, and I'm not going to. I'll link the website in the description, but you came here for a different reason. I just wanted to say hi, and well, reason why we've been gone for a long time. What are you going on about? Okay, well, back to the video. Welcome back to Talking Serpents. So for years, I have been asked, how do I install my vinyl tiles on my reptile enclosures? I also use a special flooring. I'm gonna show all of it in this video, how to properly, that's the key word, properly install these vinyl tiles. They come in many different colorations, sizes, patterns, all that good stuff. And I will tell you all the in and outs and everything you need to know to get the job done properly. So let's go to the shop, let's get it done. So like I said before, these come in many different sizes and variations. These are just some of the colors that we have here. Today we're actually going to be installing these. They're 12-inch by 12-inch vinyl tiles, and this is what it's called, ash blended slate. Oh, and it's made by Traffic Master. So if you're wondering what the brand is, Traffic Master. And if you're wondering where we get it, Home Depot. They have many different sizes and variations every time you go there. So go there, choose what color you want. You can also check it out online, homedepot.com, whatever. So these do come with an adhesive on the back side. So I'll show you how to properly install those and cut and all that good stuff. So at this point, you can go to the store and figure out what colors they have and what patterns at Home Depot. Maybe even Lowe's has them, I don't know. And you go ahead and choose what color scheme you're gonna go with your reptile enclosure. So like I said, we are going to do this, but you might wanna do this. Like we did this with our brown enclosures. Some of my past local customers use this, and of course this, and this, and all that good stuff. So you decide, and you can customize your enclosure the way you want. Also, these will work for our reptile enclosures that we sell on our website, talkingserpents.com. So if you want to apply these to one of our enclosures, this will definitely set you up for that. All right, so what is the next step? So we personally like using this, and it's called white wallboard, and it comes in a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet at Home Depot. It's usually about 34 bucks on average. This color is white, but it comes in a couple different colors. We like using it because it makes cleanup very easy. So this is the reptile enclosure we're going to be applying these vinyl tiles and the flooring to, but I have to say this before we move on. You must have an interior sealant on the inside of your reptile enclosure. Do not apply this to raw wood and think you're going to be all moisture resistant, because there could be slight gaps and I don't want anybody to have issues. So we are going to be applying a polyurethane to the entire surface of interior of the reptile enclosure. You could also use Dry-Lock Extreme. It comes in many different colors. So at this point, we need to apply the clear interior sealant, the polyurethane, to the reptile enclosure. So through YouTube magic, we have already done that. There, boom. Also, that one's already pre-applied. Like I said, it's clear. So we actually are going to be applying this to 2 reptile enclosures that are 3x2 by 18 for 2 new snakes that I'm not going to say what they are. They are very special. I'll say that they are venomous. That's all I'm going to say. Next YouTube video or sometime in the future, whenever that comes up. Anyway, so let's move on. Now that the interior sealant is on and has cured, we can now apply the vinyl tiles. So let's say you've chosen your vinyl tiles. I've chosen mine. I already know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go with this, and now let's get on to the next step of actually applying these properly. We're going to be working on the back wall first. So I'm going to be laying them on their backs. So it'll make life a little bit easier. Alright, now it's time to install our first tile. So I should probably mention that these do have directional arrows sometimes, and I'm just going to orient all the arrows towards the top, which leads me to also say that I like working from the top downward, and then you can work right to left, left to right, whatever you like. So I'm going to peel off this backing sticker. And like I said before, this is a peel and stick, so there is adhesive on the back of this vinyl tile. So let me take this off, and then we'll stick our first tile down. The sticker is off, and all the adhesive is exposed, so we'll work from the corner outward, make sure it's nice and tight to that corner. And just like if you're put a sticker on, make sure no air bubbles and gaps like that. So, you think you're done, right? You think you're good? That's not true. I'm going to show you the next tool we need. So, like I said, you aren't done. So what is this? This is a heat gun, but you can also use a hair dryer. Heat gun's a little bit faster, so I'm definitely going to be using a heat gun. You're like, why a heat gun? So, the heat gun is important because it activates the adhesive on the back side of the tile, making a very firm bond onto whatever material it's bonding to. And if you don't want to use this step and you think it's stupid, I know from experience that I wish I had done it my first couple of times, and then I had to go back and use the heat gun. So, better safe than sorry, and you will be sorry. So use the heat gun or hair dryer to activate the adhesive. So now let me go show you how to do it. It's pretty easy though. So I'm using the heat gun in a nice even pattern to evenly heat up the vinyl tile. So I'm going to be heating this vinyl tile up to a point where it's warm, decently warm, but not hot, not hot. So don't get carried away. You're just trying to activate that adhesive on the back side. And then once the whole tile is evenly heat up, which I like doing a whole row, it makes it easier. That way while this is warming up, you can move on to the next one. And I like to get in there. Once everything is evenly warmed up and apply pressure, you can get in there with your socks off if you like and stomp around. But yeah, nice firm seal, and you just move on to the next tile and so on and so on and activate that adhesive. So you will come to the point where you need to cut a vinyl tile to size. So we're gonna put a tile right here. So let's cut it to size, but first we need to measure. The gap between there and there is 5 inches. So whatever the gap is, I personally like to do a 1/16 less. So let's go over and I'll show you how to cut it. Pretty easy. Now that we know what our measurement is, we're gonna go ahead and take our tape measure, of course, and mark out the measurement. Then we're gonna be taking a straight edge. You can use whatever you need for a straight edge as long as it is straight. So we got our 2 points of contact, and boom. So, as you can see, I measured and I marked the top where the texture and the color is on the vinyl tile. In the past, the first time I did it, I actually did it on the bottom where the adhesive's at, because I was like, oh, I don't want to see like any kind of marking for like a Sharpie or a pen. But I was wrong, because if you try to use a knife and snap it, it actually does not work well. It cracks the top. So, mark the top. So, now to cut it, I'm going to be using shears. You can also use some heavy-duty scissors. You can use a knife, like I just said. Pretty much whatever you can dream up to make work will work good. So, I'm cutting off that mark. Fast forward through this, because this could be boring. Alright, there we go. Nice straight line. You want to do it whole ass, no half-ass work around here. That way it looks good. So, let's go ahead and install it. So what I like to do is double check to make sure it fits. It's a nice tight fit, and it does fit. But if it doesn't fit, guess what? You just cut a little more off. So now you can take off your backing and stick it down. Got the vinyl tiles all secured onto the back wall. Looking good. So, before we move on, there's actually one more step to make sure that these are properly installed. Mind you that these tiles were designed to be a flooring for a home. So, we want to make sure that they are on the wall, nice and secure. So, I'll show you the next step. So the last step is staples. So, like I said before, these were designed to be a flooring, so gravity pulls them down and we would never have any problems with them moving. So for extra, triple assurance, whatever you want to say, we're going to use staples. So what I used to use is a stapler like this. You can get them at a Home Depot, Lowe's. They're fairly inexpensive. And after everything is all secured down, I place my hand on here and I push down. That way there's no gap in between the stapler and the vinyl tile. And I slam it down. And that drives the staple into the vinyl tile, securing it down to the surface. And then sometimes, very rarely, if you don't get a proper slam down on that stapler, you just give it a little, and that way it's below the surface, or it's nice and flat to the surface. That one, that's good. So anyways, as time went on, we had bought a pneumatic stapler. So you are going to need some kind of air compressor. So we got an air compressor, of course, and set your PSI much faster. Push down, bam, 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 bam. Super easy. So now let's talk about staples. There are galvanized and steel staples. So if you use the steel staples, they can rust if you have humidity in enclosure, which everyone's gonna have humidity in their closure. So that was one of the things that I had done one time. Won't do that anymore. So I use stainless steel staples. If you didn't know, stainless steels do not rust. So they're slightly more expensive, but they're absolutely important to make sure it looks good and doesn't rust. So got stainless steel staples, and you can just bam. All right, now let's go back to the enclosure and I'll show you where I place the staples to make sure that they are permanently secured. All right, now that you have your stapler inside your reptile enclosure, so I've already stapled it because it was actually going to be a little too difficult to show. So I'm going to show you where I stapled. So obviously I did right here, right here, right here, right here. So all four corners, of course, and then I did in the center. And then for extra assurance, I actually did halfway up. So boom, 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 boom. And sometimes if you're in the proper position, depending on the height of your reptile enclosure, the configuration, you can actually place the staple in between two tiles. So there's two tiles right here, and I split the difference. So little tech tip, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, well, just put two and you're good to go. Like that one. Two tiles, two staples. It works. After some more YouTube magic, the vinyl tiles are on the walls. So I put them on the back wall, the right and left side. Same with this reptile enclosure over here. Looking really good. And the last step is to do the flooring. So we're gonna go over here and apply and cut the white wallboard. So like I said, this is white wallboard, and it is pretty flexible, and it's actually pretty thin. But it makes it very easy to clean the reptile enclosure and maintain and all that. So I like using it, and it's actually really easy to cut. You can use track saw, table saw, whatever saw works. Don't overthink it. It'll work. Just butter knife. You could probably cut for a couple of years. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Anyways, so over here, I like to measure the width and the depth, and then whatever the length is, I like to subtract either a 16th or an 1/8. That way, it has a little bit of wiggle room. Because once you secure the flooring down, you're gonna put a bead of caulking around all the edges and there won't be any gaps. So, not a big gap, it's a small gap, very small, but just enough. That's all, the end. All right, after some more YouTube magic, our white wallboard, AKA our flooring, is cut. We used table saw. So like I said, it is flexible, so you can fold it up like a little taco, and boom. Let it settle right into place. No ends are bowing upward. It's a nice cut. Like I said, we did a subtraction of a 16th in this strip in the width as well as the depth. So last step, we like to use screws. So we're going to put screws in each corner, and then probably every 18 inches or every foot. So we just secured the flooring down. I had some 3/8 screws around the shop, but you can also use these 1/2 inch screws I get from Home Depot. And what we did was we put them in all 4 corners and then every foot in between to make it nice and secure. So the next step would be to apply some silicone caulking. This is what I use, which is the brand GE. It is 100% silicone. It is reptile safe. And if you want to know which one to get, come on, focus. Silicone #1, blue label, all purpose. That's the one to get. Fast forward in the future, and they are complete. All finished, and I'm stoked. So we used a black cherry stain on the exterior, but that's not why you're here. You came for the interior, and it is all completed. Silicone caulking on all the corners and edges. The only thing I did not share was installing the air vent. So we cut the hole after we completed everything, and then we screwed everything back in. So if you have one of our reptile enclosures on our website, talkingserpents.com, simply cut it out from the back side, put the air vent cover back on, good to go. I saved you from all the boring stuff. Super easy to do, but no one probably wants to see that. But yeah, all finished, and I'm happy. So I've got a disclaimer. I thought it was very important to add. If you're going to be setting up a reptile enclosure for bioactive, because it can be damp, so you have like standing water, some people have misting systems, you're in there spraying water, trying to make it look all tropical with fog and everything, this might not be the best idea. If you're looking for longevity in a reptile enclosure for very damp enclosures, I would say go with one of our PVC reptile enclosures on our website, talkingserpents.com. There is going to be a link down in the description. We have many different sizes and variations. But I've never had any issue with vinyl tiles and the flooring we use with our birchwood enclosures. And we've been doing this for years, but I'd rather put the disclaimer in, just in case if you're going to be using a bioactive setup and all that good stuff that it said, get the PVC one for that. So that's the end of the video. Please do share if you think you know somebody who would enjoy something like this. Alright, don't forget to strike that like button. If you have any comments, leave in the comment section below. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.